Alright, this is video 3 for College Algebra, and this we're talking about linear equations. So first we're just going to do two problems of just solving a basic linear equation. Okay, so remember we need to get all of our x's on one side, so if I subtract my 3x and I can subtract my 4 to the other side, I get 2x equals negative 12. Divide by 2 and we get x equals negative 6. Alright, on our next problem we've got fractions, but it's the same sort of problem. We want to get everything with an x on one side, everything else on the other. So when I subtract my x on both sides, I get negative 5/9 x, and this is going to equal 2 on this side, on our right side. After I divide by negative 5/9, we get x equals negative 18 over 5. Okay, and I would just keep that as a fraction. That'd be a lot easier than converting that to a decimal. All right, here we just have a handful of formulas that will probably come in handy when we are doing practice problems, or when you do practice problems. Okay, just your basic temperature formulas, your simple interest, compound interest, and then distance. All right, so let's do a problem where we are looking at simple interest. Okay, so here we're investing a total of $10,000 at 4.5% and 5.5%. And it is simple interest. In 1 year, we earn $508.75 in interest from both accounts, and we're trying to figure out how much did we invest in each account. So I know I invested $10,000 into two different accounts. I don't know how much. Maybe I gave it to a banker and I was like, hey, go invest this for me, and they did, and I just don't know. But now I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so first we need to define some variables. So let's say x is our money invested at 4.5%. And since we only want one variable to find, we're going to say 10,000 minus x would be the money we invested at 5.5%. Okay, so then we can create our two formulas using our simple interest formulas. I equals PRT. Remember, P is our principal amount, so that's how much we started with, our rate, and then our time, and we're just doing this for 1 year. So we can go ahead and we can solve this, okay? We know my interest from both of these was $508.75. So we can simplify this and have it equal this $508. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. So I've got 0.045x, all right, and then I'm going to add, and I'm just going to go ahead and distribute this so we can get rid of those parentheses. Actually, let's keep it. We'll just add that extra step. All right, so now we can distribute. And so now we have our simplified formula, and we just need to combine terms and solve. So if I combine my two terms with my x, I get negative 0.01x plus my 550. All right. And so now we just have that simple couple step equation. Okay. And now, because we have those two negatives, when we divide, we should get x equals $4,125. and that is in money. So now we're not done yet. We know that this is what is at 4.5%. So this is at 4.5%. How much did I invest in for the 5.5%? We'll just take your 10,000 minus this, which would be $5,875. All right, so now we know our two amounts for each account. All right, moving on. All right, we've got a lovely little giant over here and its shadow, and we're gonna call this a bunny and its shadow. And we're trying to find the height of the giant. So here we're dealing with proportions. So I'm gonna say my height of giant over its shadow length. Let's make that equal to the height of the bunny over its shadow. Okay, and so with that proportion, then we can solve. So let's see, we don't know the height of our giant. We do know its shadow. And the height of the bunny is 48 inches. That's a pretty big bunny. Maybe it's a giant bunny. And its shadow is 6 inches. Okay, so we can use our cross multiplication. Remember, you can do that when fractions equal each other. So we have 6x equaling 6,816. So x is going to equal 1,136 feet. Okay, and it's okay that if this is feet and this is inches because they're the same in each fraction. Okay, now if my height was in feet and my shadow was in inches and both of these were in inches, then we'd have a problem. But because each fraction was the same, then it works out for us. All right, here we're supposed to find the volume. Now you can plug in what we know into our equation and just run with it, or you can rearrange your equation first and then it'll be a little easier to solve. So it's either way. I'm going to show you the second way just because I think that it's a little more uncommon and I just want you to see that. So I want to get this, I need to find, actually our directions are wrong. We don't want to find the volume. We need to find the height. And we know that the volume is 200 centimeters cubed. All right, so let's rearrange our equation. I want to find h by itself, so that means I'm going to divide by this pi r squared on both sides. So my new equation is now h equals v divided by pi r squared. Now I can plug in everything I know and find my height. So my height equals 200 over pi times my radius is 4, so 4 squared. So my height is going to equal 200 divided by 16 pi. And we can simplify that. We actually want an approximate answer because this doesn't make sense when I'm talking about a shape and its height. So that's going to be 3.98 centimeters. Okay, and then last but not least, we've just got some formulas that might be important and might be commonly used for you guys. Okay, so again, this is just looking at some linear equations and solving.